Microsoft might be thinking that rebranding 343 Industries to Halo Studios is somehow going to save this franchise after they sacrificed it on the altar of woke. But that is clearly not going to be the case, as we have a senior community manager for the newly formed Halo Studios already implying that gamers are racist for questioning the company's embrace of DEI policies and questioning a number of its employees' embrace of DEI policies and the DEI agenda. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And yes, this franchise already sacrificed itself on the altar of wokeness. You clearly can see that in this key art that they released back in June, promoting all kinds of disordered sexual behavior, promoting the LGBTQ plus agenda, promoting transgenderism, yada, yada, yada. We also know that they completely decided to sell themselves out, pimp themselves out to Paramount and ruin Master Chief with those two absolutely abominable seasons. The biggest sin being the fact that they decided to have his helmet be removed, among other absolutely just terrible things that they did in that show. This is an absolutely company that has killed itself, and they've done this themselves, and they're going to continue doing this, and they can still are, because we have this guy here, Halo Studios senior community manager John Junyszek. I'm not sure how to say his name. I'm sure I've got some people from Poland in the comments can help me say that name properly. I assume that's where he's from. Looks like a Polish name to me. But he implied that gamers are racist after a number of them began raising questions regarding a number of the company's employees' embrace of identity politics. This is what he wrote on X. He said this: in nearly a decade of serving in a public-facing role in gaming, I've never had my passion or work experience questioned due to my race, religion, gender, etc. Not even after game delays or server outages when I'm out on the front line as the bearer of bad news. Sadly, it's no secret that my experience is far different than many game developers, especially when compared to devs that happen to come from marginalized communities. So there you go right there, implying that people questioning the experience of individuals, his fellow coworkers, are racist because he's saying they're doing it specifically because of their race, which is absolutely not what is happening. They are questioning based on these people's experience, which is literally serving at the altar of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Or as many people like to say, DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity. This contrast shows that we all have work to do to continue making gaming and game development a better space for people to do their best work. Just a bunch of empty platitudes right there. I appreciate how supportive our community has been over the years, and I'm glad to see that continue to this day. Please continue to do your part. Practice kindness. Be human. It's so kind of him to insinuate that gamers are racist because they oppose DEI. That's so kind of him. What an utter hypocrite. But that's what these people do. They have no problems with this contradiction because at the end of the day, it's all about power politics. It's all about using emotional manipulation to try and make you think that you're the one somehow being offensive. You're the one who is the oppressor and you're oppressing me, when in the fact they're the ones coming at you. They're the ones ruining Halo. They're the ones pushing this agenda. And while they're punching you, they're going to say, stop punching me, as you just criticize them, right? Like, we're not the ones doing this to Halo. You're the one doing this to Halo, and pointing out the people behind it. Somehow it means that you are racist now. It's just utterly absurd. It's ridiculous. And it's just lying to push his agenda to try and gain power over people, whether that be through emotional manipulation, because it's clearly definitely not about any kind of logic or reasoning. So his comments come in the wake of Microsoft announcing that 343 Industries was being renamed Halo Studios, and they published a video with many of its employees being showcased talking about the renamed studios and its goals for Halo. Following the video, numerous gamers began to look into many of the employees featured in the video. One of those gamers, YouTuber Smash JT, noted the company's chief of staff, Melissa Boone, has an LGBTQ plus flag as her banner picture on her LinkedIn profile. It's right there. That is a massive, massive red flag. If you have this in your profile, you're likely going to be injecting this agenda into the video games. That is literally what we see happening. That's what these people do. They inject this stuff into the video game. You see there, her title is Chief of Staff, Halo Studios, and she's likely pushing this agenda into Halo Studios, whether that has to be with the people that they're hiring, whether that has to do with any kind of trainings that she's in charge of. She's probably pushing this agenda in some form or manner. In fact, she is, because we'll get to this. So if we go to her experience, it says here on her LinkedIn profile that she is a principal UX research manager, and she was to be, quote, keenly invested in research on diversity and inclusive design efforts to bring more diverse voices into the games industry. So that is literally part of her job at Microsoft, where she was there from February 2019 to August 2023 as the principal UX research manager. Her job was literally to be keenly invested in research on diversity and inclusive design efforts. So when you see the signs that when there's smoke, there's usually fire. And in this case, there is a giant raging fire, because not only do we have that, but if we hop on over to her actual profile on Microsoft's website, the About section, it says this: Melissa manages research across several Xbox franchises and experiences, including Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, Double Fine Studios, and the Xbox Store. She also leads research in diversity, inclusion, and accessibility across Xbox's games and experiences, with a focus on making Xbox a place where everyone has fun. That's right. This is the woman who is leading research in diversity, inclusion, and accessibility at Xbox. So that's her job. That is literally her job, is to push this agenda. And apparently you're racist if you question what she's going to be doing to Halo. It's just absolutely disingenuous. And again, that's what, it doesn't matter. They're just trying to put you under their thumb and say, like, oh, you're such a bad person if you're actually questioning these things. And then, oh, your questions actually are born fruit when we get the evidence here that this is indeed the case. It also reveals she's an adopter of the Hispanic racial slur Latinx. Her research in public health focused on how people's social interactions influence their risk for HIV and substance abuse, particularly with African Americans and Latinx folks, LGBTQ plus people and women, but also how these people's personal resilience can be developed and supported to help them avoid poor health outcomes. That is here on her About section. That is indeed a slur. We have a poll from back in 2021 that was conducted back in 2021 from Ben Dixon and Amandi International. They found that only 2% of Hispanic voters chose the term Latinx to describe their ethnic background. It also found that 40% of Hispanic voters say the use of the term Latinx bothers or offends them. You can see right here, 40% say that, 20% said yes a lot, 11% yes somewhat, 9% yes a little. That all adds up to 40%. That seems to be quite a bit here that view this as a racial slur. And it's offensive to me. It's offensive to me, and I'm not even Hispanic, because it's clearly trying to push the whole transgender ideology and is literally an attack on the Spanish language. It's sick stuff what these people try and do. But it's not just Boone, right? It's not just Boone who's been kind of pointed out, right? There's a bunch of these people. I don't even think this guy was in the video, but he's someone that we've been made aware of previously because he posted this back in 2023. His name is Nick Treitman. He's a producer over at Halo Studios. And he posted this, that he struggled working on the game and on the franchise because it features firearms. And he wrote, I honestly don't think I could work on a game that glorifies or fantasizes modern guns, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Rainbow Six Siege, or just, I think that's just Rainbow Six. I've had moments I've struggled with Halo, but the weapons and world is still pretty sci-fi, which creates a large enough separation from reality. This is the guy who is working on Halo. This is a producer on Halo claiming that he has an issue with firearms. Utterly insane stuff right here. This is the person that they expect to be making a game that you're literally about shooting aliens. Like, that's the basic premise of Halo, right? Of note, he also features the LGBTQ plus and transgender flag next to his name in his Twitter bio. And then you can see here in that Twitter bio that he is a supporter of those causes there. rainbow flag, transgender flag, obviously LGBTQ plus. Highly doubt that he's actually referring to the covenant that God made with Abraham, or excuse me, with Noah, with the rainbow after he flooded the world, saying he would not flood the world in the future. Doubt that that is what he is referencing there. Pretty sure he's referencing what caused God to flood the world, or one of the causes. So Smash JT and others also took issue with Elizabeth Van Wyck, who was featured in that video. She's Halo Studios' chief operating officer, and she's worked with an organization called AnyKey. And that organization's mission, quote, is to substantially increase diversity, inclusion, and equity in competitive gaming and live streaming. She is not a minority. She looks like to be like a white woman watching the video. And again, this guy looks like he's white too. So again, if you're questioning their employees, apparently you're a racist, even though only one of them right now is black and the others are white. So again, it's all about the power politics. It's all about the emotional manipulation here from this guy. But let's get back down here to Van Wyck and her work with this group called, what is it called? AnyKey, I think. Yeah, AnyKey. And as I said, their mission is to substantially increase diversity, inclusion, and equity in competitive gaming and live streaming. So if she's working with this organization, it's likely that she has the same mission as well. And she's bringing that to Halo Studios, bringing that to Microsoft. In fact, the organization has goals for diversity, inclusion, and equity. You can read those right here. The diversity goal says it wants to increase the percentage of marginalized people represented in gaming and streaming. This means women, players of color, LGBTQ plus folks, players with disabilities, and gamers over 35 should be invited to play, spectate, compete, and build communities. I don't think that anyone is really stopping people from doing that whatsoever. Anyways, they have this inclusion one, is improve the quality of participation for marginalized gamers and streamers. This means ensuring that when we invite people to join our gaming spaces, they feel welcome and valued when they participate. And then equity, it says provide opportunities and resources for marginalized community members. This means making material contributions that impact players, casters, streamers, community builders, tournament organizers, and industry professionals. We'll see what happens with that, because there was a court ruling that if you are indeed financing organizations based on their race, that's illegal in the United States. So they might be engaging in illegal activities. We'll see. And that was an appeals court ruled on that. So that was an appeal, and the appeals court struck down. We'll see if that moves forward. But this is on their website. It's all over their website. Elizabeth Van Wyck works with them. So again, none of this is surprising, right? Because they made it clear that they are a slave to this agenda back in June, where they posted this: Happy Pride Month, embrace love, diversity, and inclusion by equipping the Unity 24 armor, coding, nameplate, and emblem in Halo Infinite this June. Let's stand together in honoring our LGBTQIA+ community and forging a future of unity and acceptance for all. There is no acceptance with the LGBTQ+ agenda. They are actually full of hate. They actively hate anyone that says what they're doing is wrong, which is the truth. And they will lash out against it, and they will actively oppose you and try to destroy you. And they will use any means necessary to do that, including insinuating that you are a racist for questioning that agenda, as we see here from Junyszek, the senior manager, community manager at Halo Studios. If these are the people that are working at Halo Studios, this entire franchise is absolutely cooked. It is overdone. It will not be able to be saved. You have to throw it out. If you take a bite, it's just like an overdone, burnt piece of meat. It's going to be absolutely awful. And you're probably going to be spitting it out if you do indeed take a bite of it. But why would you do that when you can see that it is completely and utterly overcooked, burnt to a crisp? No, I don't really know anyone who likes to eat completely burnt to a crisp pieces of meat. When you see something like that, you literally throw it away. And that is what gamers are going to do with Halo. They are going to throw this franchise away. They are going to walk away from it. And it's all of their own doing. They have no one to blame but themselves for embracing this agenda, for selling themselves into slavery to the DEI agenda. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.